years, the concept of hero in the Philippines has constantly been redefined in response to the changes and challenges of our times. Filipinos in general are being regarded as heroes without having to give up their lives for country, but for their vital contributions to nation building. But what is it to be a hero? Says Lagman, the choice of a hero involves not only the recounting of an episode or events in history, but of the entire process that made this particular person a hero.
The Philippines, just like any other country, is not perfect. We also face different problems, starting with the government itself up until the households wherein our parents and our family are living in. These types of issues will be discussed later.
I think that the biggest problem in the Philippines right now is the lack of education. Promising quality of education is usually expensive. Most companies would hire graduates from prestigious schools. Going back in Rizal's time, only children that came from rich families were able to go to school. Children from rural and remote areas hardly get formal education. There are many more problems that the Philippines is facing right now, but I think that education should be our top priority.
Kailan ba tayo matututo?
Ano pa ang magagawa natin?
Paano na ang pinaghirapan ng ating mga bayani? May pag-asa pa ba ang ating bayan?
Ano? Bayan o sarili?
Okay, so nandito si Kuya and he's gonna say his opinion to Rizal.
Ano pong tingin nyo kay Rizal? Paano nyo po siya nakilala?
Nakita ko siya sa libro, saka sa piso. Siya isang bayani.
Sige po, salamat.
Salamat po, Kuya. Hi, so we're here with Kuya Albert and he's gonna say his opinion.
Rizal ay Atenean at saka letran. Then, sa kanya pinangalan yung library sa Ateneo.
Ooh,
Sige
new
po.
fact.
Salamat.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're here with Ivan and he's gonna say his opinion.
So ano pong tingin nyo kay Rizal?
Sa pagkakaalam ko kasi maraming hindi alam na bagay kay Rizal regarding sa kung bakit niya ipinablish yung El Filippo series more na kasi may mga issues ako na naririnig na merong group na nagsasabi na bakla daw si Rizal kasi kung i-consider mo yung mga sulat niya, hindi actually pinablish. Actually, hindi pinablish dun sa tunay na El Filippo series mo, No Limit Hanger. Yung mga kabanata na si Maria Clara is something na hindi talaga Maria Clara. Yun, kasi hindi nabuhay. Namulat na kasi yung mga Filipino sa na pag sinabing Maria Clara, babae. Pero merong mga kabanata dun sa No Limit Hanger na totoo. Tapos, hindi nila pinablish sa mga. Yun lang yung alam ko sa kanya.
Sige, salamat.
Okay, so we're here with Cam. Okay.
Okay, well, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Who is Jose Rizal to you?
Jose Rizal is a historical figure here in the Philippines. People say that he's a national hero, and they also made a brand for his figure. Right, that's who he is to me.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Let's recall the most significant deeds of patriotism of our heroes, which led to the birth of generations upon generation of free and proud Filipinos. First, we have Dr. Jose Rizal, a national hero who exposed the corruptions and wrongdoings of the Spanish colonial government through his writings. He founded the progressive organization La Liga Filipina, which was considered a threat by the Spanish authorities and ultimately led to his arrest. Then, there's Bonifacio, who founded the Katipunan, a secret society which spearheaded the uprising against the oppressive Spanish rule. It was the groundwork for the First Philippine Republic. He faced a trial for acts inimical to the existence of the new government and was sentenced to death by a military tribunal. Lastly, we give you Gabriela Silang, who was a revolutionary best known as the first female leader of a Filipino movement in the fight for independence from Spain. She took over the reins of her husband Diego Silang's revolutionary movement following his assassination in year 1763. During this time, she led the Ilocano rebel movement until she was captured and executed by the colonial government of the Spanish East Indies. Despite the lack of any official declaration explicitly proclaiming the other two patriots as national heroes, they remain admired and revered for their pivotal roles in Philippine history.
We have this major issue in the Philippines about corruption, countrymen taking advantage of their own countrymen. And we have this famous issue about Mokayuson's fake news. We can orient this in Rizal's thinking about the government. Rizal's ideas on government mirror those of the political thinkers who influenced the French and American Revolution. Many of those ideas are enshrined in many constitutions or fundamental laws on democratic countries in the world today.
Rizal believed that the primary function of the government is to promote the welfare of its citizens. Rizal believed that social progress was possible if there was cooperation between the government and its people. A stupid government is an anomaly among righteous people, just as corrupt individuals cannot exist under rules and wise laws. Like people, like government. A government that needs the support of the people must continue to have an open and free dialogue with its people. The second major issue that we will be discussing is education. Today, people who only have the capability to study are allowed, as most of the prestigious schools here who give quality education the people who study there has to pay a lot of money in order to receive the quality education that they need. So Rizal already recognized the importance of education in the progress and welfare of the nation when he was only a teenager. At 18 years old, in his poem, Through Education Our Motherland Receives Light, he said that education lifts the motherland to the highest station. It is only through education that the country will prosper. In his essay, The Indolence of the Filipinos, he wrote that the system of education must promote economic progress and activity. He recognized the importance of vocational education.
Thus, in his poem, Through Education, Our Motherland Receives Light, said that education lifts the motherland to the highest station.
It is only through education that the country will prosper. In his essay, The Indolence of the Filipinos, he wrote that the system of education must promote economic progress and activity. He recognized the importance of vocational education. Rizal already recognized the importance of education in the progress and welfare of the nation when he was only a teenager, 18 years old to be more precise. Thus, in his poem, Through Education Our Motherland Received Flight, he said that education lifts the motherland to the highest station. It is only through education that the country will prosper. In his essay, The Indolence of the Filipinos, he wrote that the system of education must promote economic progress and activity. He recognized the importance of vocational education.
Another issue that needs to be tackled on is individual freedom. So in the many scenarios that are happening right now in a regular household, some parents force their children to take up something that they don't want. And that takes up the right to choose, the right to go to the path that they really want. That's why it is oriented to Rizal's thinking on individual freedom. Rizal believed that history teaches us that freedom is not obtained without pain nor merit, nor it is granted. We have to earn it.
As humans, we all have the privilege to experience basic human rights, but we can't assure that all of the people experience this. There will always be obstacles in our way to complete freedom. But if we all work together, we can slowly crawl our way to complete freedom. Jose Rizal in one of his literary works stated that ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan, which roughly translates into the youth is the hope of our country. As the youth, we have to learn from our elderly, meaning generations and generations of lessons and lives are passed over to us. So basically speaking, the solution to the problem is slowly cultivated. It's the youth's duty to make significant change in the world we're currently living in, making it a better place. As quoted by Ms. Karine Ibasco, Miss Earth Philippines 2017, our micro efforts will have a macro effect. If we just make our simple efforts, all of them will be combined, making one big impact in the surface of our civilization.
Go.
Rizal loved our country, and he fought for it with a pen. He became the voice of many oppressed Filipinos who stood up for what is right, even though that was the price. Today, many Filipinos still feel oppressed by the government, by the economy, and by the system. So, how many of us have the initiative to get up and change our situation?